on the top of the ears help with them being able to see each other when they are hunting. So when they are going after various food items and they spread out, those black spots on the back of the ears means that the females can see one another. It also helps with the cubs following their mother in thick areas where there's lots of grass. They are able to get a situation where the cubs can then see mom walking through the grass and then follow it. It's much the same as the black tip to the tail. It's basically a following mechanism. Now I just want to try and keep going straight back. Sorry, VM, I know it's quite bumpy, but it's just such a cool view to have the lions walking down the road straight at us. And it looks like Amber Eyes in front at the moment. I think it's Amber Eyes in front. It looks like it's her. But they are a really good-looking pride, aren't they? Look at how sort of strong and muscular they look. They're always kind of well-built, and they never look as though they're completely out of it. The one female that I don't see is the old female with the hip injury. I haven't seen her yet. I'm pretty sure she is here somewhere, but I haven't seen her yet. But how cool is this? Oh, look at that little bit of bonding that takes place. And there comes the other ones. Nope, I've decided they're not going to do that. Now I'm just going to keep going with them. I don't want to be too close to them because otherwise they might go off the road and away from us. So if we just give them a nice amount of space, then they generally are quite happy just to walk in the road in front of us. Bree, it is a lion parade at the moment. They are parading as well as you could ever imagine. They're kind of walking down the road in single file, and it's a long line these days. I mean, obviously they don't have the males with them today, but still, it's, you know, 12 lions is a lot of lions to look out for and watch, and so it is getting quite large, this pride, and hopefully it will continue. Sorry, VM, I know I'm reversing badly. I'm trying to just look out because I can see something in the background here. I think it's just some impalas that are busy shouting at the lions. I don't know if the impalas would have seen them from where we are, but I heard an alarm call behind us. So I just want to get my binoculars out and have a look behind me and just see what it is. No, it's buffalo. There's buffalo behind us. So they're going to be hunting buffalo. They're all lying down behind us here. And I'm just going to let Tax know because I'm sure Tax wants to maybe just catch up with us. Yeah, Tax, there's a Shlambi and Nyari behind us here that they're walking straight towards. Now they're hunting a warthog, I believe. So they seem as though they've spotted the warthog. Look at how she's running. She's going to come running right past us. So typical Amber Eyes, who's focused on that. Now, I don't think they've seen the buffalo yet. The buffalo are all the way behind us, lying down. They've spotted a warthog instead. And I'm pretty sure this pride would rather go after a buffalo than a warthog, but if there's a meal on option, then you never know what's going to happen. So they definitely are hungry and they're interested, but I think the buffalo would be a far better bet, except Amber Eyes is now focused on this warthog. I don't think she's going to let it up anytime soon. The problem is her chasing a warthog certainly will set off these buffalo, and the buffalo will become far more aware that these lions are around. But I wonder if she's going to go try and dig it out. You see, she's walking straight towards the mound. VM, did you see the warthog in the mound? It came out and then it ran back in. Or did it run away? It ran away. Okay, so I didn't see. Now, we're going to do a action broadcast just because of what's around us. And we're going to try and see if we can maybe see if these lions are going to hunt. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a cloudy South Africa and lions that are on the prowl. So, my name is Tristan, and on camera today I've got VM, and as I was saying, these lions are on the prowl. They're busy hunting at the moment, and there's lots going on, because not only are the lions kind of moving towards a termite mound where there is a warthog that we've just seen run, but there is a whole bunch of buffalo that are behind us as well. You see the lions? They've just gone on chasing there. So they're chasing something. Let's try and see if we can catch up with them. I don't know if they're going to get this right because, well, warthogs are quite agile animals and lions need to be fairly quick. But you can see they've run into the bush here and they look like they're chasing it. But the problem is it's taking them away from the buffalo, which is a meal that this pride really likes. Now, what I'm kind of hoping is that this warthog managed to get away from them and that they actually end up going more towards the buffalo than anything else, because the buffalo is what this pride specializes in. They're very good at hunting buffalo. Warthogs are not so much. So their counterparts in other parts of the world are pretty good at hunting warthogs, but these lions here in South Africa, it's not really their speciality. And the reason why is because warthogs are really quite small for a big pride. There's 12 members of this pride in total, and that means that it's quite difficult for them to get a lot of food out of a warthog. But something like a buffalo is the perfect amount of food for lions. Now remember, this is interactive and it is live, so you can actually ask questions. You can just post your questions in the comment section below, and we will try and answer as many as possible. I think they've missed the warthog, which might be a sort of blessing in disguise, because they're now mobile straight towards where those buffalo are all sleeping, and the buffalo have no idea that they're here. So these lions moving towards the buffalo is actually a really good thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and just get back to the road, because what I want is I don't want to try and be crashing through the bush and kind of alerting the buffalo to the lion's presence. So if I get back onto the road, it might be a situation where the lions will have a better opportunity to try and hunt. Now, Aaron, you're wondering what time it is. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, 5 to 6 according to Kirsty. My watch is a little bit faster, but it's 5 to 6 in the morning, and so it is perfect time for lions to be active. It's also a cloudy, cool, overcast morning, and lions tend to be a lot more active in weather like this than they are in bright sunshine. Now, what I want is for one of these females to go on top of this mound to be able to then see the buffalo, because I don't think they've actually seen the buffalo yet. I think they were trailing buffalo, but they actually haven't seen them as yet. Now, the reason why she's standing where she is because she's looking into the hole of this mound, hoping that maybe another warthog might be inside. And you'll find lions will actually sometimes dig out warthogs. But there we go. You see the one lioness is going to go on top of the mound itself, and she's going to probably from there be able to spot those buffalo. If she just looks to her left, that's where the buffalo are. And like I say, this pride, when they see buffalo, they go into a completely different mode, and they really will try and pursue them as much as possible. Whether they'll be successful is obviously remains to be seen, because lions are not always the most successful hunters. But let me reposition Vian so that you can see this lioness better on top of the mound. So, Caitlin, the lionesses most certainly will bring down buffalo without the males. You'll find that they are capable, particularly because this pride, there's 5 adult lionesses. So working as a unit together, they should be able to do it. Also, this pride, because of the area that they're in, buffalo is pretty much the animal that they've learned to hunt from cubs. So they've grown up hunting buffalo, so they have very good technique when hunting buffalo, and so they can and will bring down a buffalo if they get anywhere near it. They are probably one of the most successful hunting prides we've got. Look, you see she's digging, so she's starting to dig into this mound. I wonder if she can hear another warthog inside here, and that's why she's starting to dig down and try and see if she can get it. The reason why they'll dig for warthogs is because warthogs, even though they are not a huge meal for lions, we're in a situation where it's probably much easier to dig for a warthog than it is to wrestle with a buffalo, and so it makes life a lot easier. Look, you see she's going down into the hole, and she's digging as much as she can. The other lions are also coming up. There's some of the sub-adults. So like I was saying, in this pride, there's 5 adult females, and then there's 6 sub-adults, 5 of which are girls and 1 boy. Now, the rest of the sub-adults haven't quite caught up yet. They're slowly but surely starting to arrive, and so we'll see them arriving. And then there's 1 small cub in amongst all of this as well that is about 6 months old. Now, let's see if she starts digging in here. What they're going to do is the thing about this is they've got both sides covered. So if they can dig out far enough, they're going to get to a point where the warthog maybe gets trapped and it tries to come out a different hole, and that's why one lioness will sit at one side and another lioness on the other side. But in saying all of this, warthogs are no sort of easy feat in terms of the way that warthogs will try and fight. They'll also be inside that mound with their tusks facing forward. So lioness is going to be very careful about the way that she does it. Now here comes the young male who's just getting towards 2 years old now. All these sub-adults are almost 2 years old, and so let's see whether or not he gets involved. They're just starting to learn how to hunt these sub-adults and how to contribute into what's going on. Look, you see how they're interested? So they've obviously seen the adults do this before, and they're going to be learning from this process. Now, sorry, Kirst, if you can just repeat that again. There comes another lioness past us. So, Jerry, our presence doesn't really affect the lions, and I'll tell you why. Because these lions have grown up with the cars being around, we limit the number of vehicles that are with the lions. So there's only, generally we'll put in maximum of 3 cars in the area. We also, you can see the lions have not paid any attention to us whatsoever. So as long as we give them space to do what they want to do and we don't really harm them too much, then they're able to kind of do everything naturally. The other thing is that they don't see us as food or a threat or anything like that. So they're going about their business just like they would do normally. But this poor warthog, if there is a warthog inside there, it is in a lot of trouble because there are a number of lions now that have come to the attention. There comes a little one. Hello, little one. You better be careful because a steam-rolling warthog is not going to be nice for a little cub, that's for sure. And this warthog, if it does come out, is going to come out at a rate of knots, and hopefully, like I say, it doesn't run straight at us because that won't be ideal at all. But they're still digging on the other side of the mound, and there must be something in there because they wouldn't be digging like this if they couldn't hear anything. So it obviously is a situation where they're hearing this warthog still moving around in there, and now what they're trying to do is they're trying to dig in and try and get as deep as they can inside there, which is pretty insane. It's amazing to actually watch how they go about it. Jacqueline, I agree. The warthog is definitely not going to be enough food for all of these lions. So luckily the buffalo are not too far away as well. It looks as though maybe they're losing interest a bit. I see some of the females are going off the mound now and walking away. And so I wonder if they've lost interest in actually trying to get to this warthog. Maybe the warthog's too deep down and they can't actually get as far enough in as they want to. And they've decided, well, buffalo is a better option than warthog. Let's just see how it plays out. They've spoiled for choice this morning. And it's interesting because we've had a situation where over the past few years we've had very dry conditions and there's been very few buffalo around, and so these lions have had to change a little bit of the way that they do things. Little cub, what are you doing? So the little one is being naughty because it could very easily get killed by a warthog that runs out of there. Big warthog male will have big tusks on the front of its face and can do a lot of damage to a little cub. So the little cub needs to be a bit careful, but it's following what the adults are doing. So it's learning from the adults, and that's why we're seeing it kind of coming down onto that shelf and actually looking around and sort of trying to investigate why the lionesses are looking inside there. Now, I think we're in a sort of temporary hiatus at the moment where they're trying to work out if they can get to it. Some of the lionesses are down and I think moving off towards the buffalo. This is all the sub-adults that are left. You see, look, they're digging, but not really in the right place. The young male hasn't quite gotten this movement down just yet, so he needs to dig in there. That's where he needs to start digging, but it's dangerous work going down that hole. He's going to have to be careful, and you can see lots and lots of flies. I think that the adults have actually moved off. I want to try and catch up with the adults because they're moving off towards the buffalo, and I think they'll be far more serious about the buffalo hunt than they are going to be about a warthog hunt. So let's just try and check. I want to just see where the females are, because if they've moved, like I say, the buffalo are straight up ahead of us. So we might have a situation where they're already kind of watching those buffalo rather than this warthog already, which is good news in a way because it means the hunt continues, and I'm far more confident of their buffalo hunting ability than I am of their warthog hunting ability. So let's just coast along there. The buffalo are straight ahead of us. So, and there's the other female lioness. So she's just come out. This is the injured female that we've got. See, she's got a rather nasty injury on her hip, but the buffalo are straight ahead, and she's on the one side of the buffalo. There the buffalo are. They don't know that the lions are here. So the lions seem as though they're pushing towards. There's some more lions. They are going. They've spotted buffalo now. So let's see how this plays out. I'm pretty sure they're going to try and hunt these buffalo as best that they can. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get onto the road and give us a chance to be able to kind of stay out of the thickets, which means we won't alert these buffalo to the lions' presence nearly as much. And what we also want is to try and position us in a way that what's going to happen here basically is lions are going to run in and buffalo are going to stampede all over the place. And so it would be nice to be positioned in a way that we can try and see the buffalo and try and work out where they're going to run. And so stopping where we are here, hopefully the lions are going to chase the buffalo away from us rather than towards us. But that wound on her hip, for those of you that are concerned about it, looks really bad and it looks very nasty. But I can promise you that that wound was maybe 4 times the size than it is right now. And so it's happened a long time ago, and it's slowly but surely starting to kind of stitch together and try and start healing. So it's going to take a little longer until it does heal properly, but she is getting much better. It doesn't look like it, but she is much better than what she was 3-4 months ago. But there's definitely going to be a hunt. How long it's going to take until they start hunting, I'm not quite sure. You know, lions are patient animals. They're going to be sizing up exactly what's going on, and then they're going to try and start moving in. But you can see they've spotted the buffalo now, and now it's time for them to start going after them. It's going to be really exciting to see how this goes. The buffalo still don't know that the lions are here. They're all lying down, and so it's a situation where we're going to have a bit of a standoff for now, and then you'll find that the lions will rush in there, and what they're going to try and do is separate an individual and target a certain member of that buffalo herd. So they're going to look for maybe a female or a youngish one. That's going to be much easier to bring down than those big males, because the big males with those massive horns are very dangerous for a lion. And this lioness, and the injury that she's got, could have potentially been from hunting buffalo. We don't really know. We didn't see what happened to her. She just kind of ended up with the injury. So it's a dangerous game, and they need to be very careful about the way that they do it. But it's good news that this lioness is here, because she's the oldest of the pride, and she's been around for quite some time and will have the experience on how to hunt these buffalo and how to bring them down. And so it's going to be interesting how they go about it. But you can see she's motionless at the moment, and all she's doing is she's studying this process. She's trying to work out, okay, which way are we going to go? How are we going to get into these buffalo? But the fact that she's on the right and the rest of the pride on the left is not the worst thing, because they can almost kind of do this pincer movement around the buffalo and try and chase buffalo towards each other. And what they're going to try and do is try and just get onto the back of one and then pin it. And then they try and just wear that buffalo down. But the buffalo will fight back, and you'll find that whole herd will try and protect each other. And so they've got to be pretty good about the way that they do it, and they've got to be pretty efficient about getting onto the back of that buffalo and separating it out. And then you'll find some of the females will have to run as blockers and almost try and keep the buffalo herd at bay while the others are busy trying to kill it. So it's an interesting process watching, and it's the age-old battle that has raged for many years out here in the Kruger Park area. It's almost like the calm before the storm. It's gotten quiet now. Now, I believe a lot of you are saying this is very exciting. It is as exciting as it gets. Like I say, Buffalo Lions is probably one of the most intense battles that we have out here in the natural world in this part of South Africa. And the reason why I say that is because, well, buffalo are one of the strongest animals that we have, pound for pound. They are incredibly aggressive when they feel like their life is threatened. And so they often get quite sort of grumpy, and they'll fight back, like I say, whereas the lions, they use their power in numbers, and it's this kind of game, the chess game that goes on. And so you see lions going, buffalo going, and it kind of becomes this back and forth battle over some time. So it's going to be really interesting to watch. I know that these females are looking for buffalo. They haven't had as many buffalo as they normally have over the course of a few months or year, because we've had so few buffalo due to the drought. But we've just had really good rains, which means that the grass is all stood up, and that means the buffalo have now come in to feed off it, and these lionesses are on their trail on purpose. So let's see how this goes. What we'll also find is all the sub-adults probably would have backed off now. They would have lay up and watching the adults go about it, and they're going to learn now from the adults as to how they go about hunting buffalo. And then over time, those sub-adults are going to also start joining. So it's not only do we have the hunt going on, but we also have a learning process happening. It's going to be super interesting to watch how this plays out. I can promise you that they are going to hunt, though. I can guarantee that they will chase these buffalo at some point. Now, Linda, you say the suspense is killing you. It is one of those things that it kind of, you sit here and you wait and you wait and you wait, and it kind of builds to this crescendo, and then all of a sudden chaos will erupt, and lions will run, buffalo will run, there'll be stampeding and grunting, and lions kind of growling if they're on top of a buffalo, and it all gets quite crazy. So as much as it's a lot of suspense now, it is going to get quite chaotic pretty shortly, I would imagine. It just takes one lioness to break cover, and then it will go crazy. Yes, there are buffalo cows in amongst that herd, so it's not only males in that grouping. There are a lot of males in there, and calves, so little babies. So yes, there also should be calves. If it's the same herd we've been seeing yesterday, there was little babies in that herd. It doesn't look like a massive herd in comparison to what we've seen over the past few days. There's been a buffalo herd that's been hanging around in the last couple of weeks that's been over 500, and they're a really large herd. And then they kind of split up into this group of 250 that kind of hangs around. But this looks like maybe only 40, 50 animals. And so this would be a manageable size for this pride of lions. And I hope there's some calves in there that would maybe kind of look like it's tantalizing enough for the lions. But the lions at the end of the day want to try and go after more than just calves. Because there's so many of them, a calf is really not enough food for the whole pride. They need to get more. They need to be able to get something like a fully grown female buffalo or maybe even a male to feed them really well. But let's see, she's still watching. You can see she's very alert and she's not moving because she doesn't want to give her position away. So, child of the universe, a lot of strategy is going into this hunt. That's why this lioness isn't moving. She's working out exactly what's going on. She's watching her fellow pride members to see what they're up to and what they're doing. And so she's kind of bouncing between where she's going to position herself, where the others are, and they're going to try and work out a way to get around these buffalo. Look, you see she's going now, so she's trying to get back into the thickets. So what she's going to do is she's going to get into the thickets and she's going to try and loop around on that side. And what you probably find is she's going to be the chasing lioness. So if she can get round onto the other side of these buffalo and then she chases them towards the net that is the other lionesses on the other side of the road, that's how they often do it. So there's a lot of strategy that goes into lion hunting. And what amazes me about watching this is how these lionesses are able to pick up subtle cues from each other without any communication whatsoever. So just through body language, movement of each lioness, they're able to coordinate themselves and get themselves into positions where they're able to hunt. I find it absolutely fascinating how lions work, and predators like this that are group-based predators, so even things like hyenas and cheetah coalitions, how they're able to tell each other about what's going on just by kind of looking and seeing what the other one's body language is. Now, what I'm going to do is just roll forward a little bit and try and just keep a visual of at least some of the lionesses so we know roughly what's going on, because otherwise it becomes quite difficult to work out which way things are going to get chased. And so we're just going to try and roll forward a little bit. The buffalo are quite used to vehicles kind of viewing them, so they're not going to be too mobile. There comes some more of the sub-adults. They're moving. This lioness is now stopped and is just sitting dead still. She's still kind of watching the buffalo. So what I'm going to do is just move and put ourselves in a position where we'll be able to stop for the remainder of the morning. But there's the buffalo all lying down. You can see they kind of having a bit of a rest. This is what buffalo do in the evenings and early mornings, is that they'll sleep like this in a fairly open patch in case the lions are around. And then as soon as it gets a little bit warmer, then they're up and starting to move and feed. And the reason why they don't like feeding during the night is because, well, they make a lot of noise when they feed. So there's a lot of hooves moving, there's a lot of stamping, there's a lot of bellowing, and it makes it difficult to hear lions. So they prefer to rest like this until the sun's up a little bit, and then they start to move and start to go and feed. But this is a perfect size herd for these lions to be hunting. I just saw the lioness that we had on our right side. She's just come past me now, and she's still mobile towards where they are. So she's slowly but surely sneaking up towards them. So Matt, you asking how many lions I can currently see that are stalking. So there's the 5 adult females that are stalking at the moment, and then there's the sub-adult male. Looks like he's also right up in the front lines, and 1 or 2 of the sub-adult females. So in total, there's probably about 7 or 8 of them that are stalking. I think some of the sub-adult females are probably still a little nervous of buffalo, but at the moment we have all the adult lionesses that are in front. So there's some of them there. You can see how well camouflaged they are and how well hidden. And I can guarantee you exactly what's going on here is that lioness is trying to get all the way around those buffalo, and she's going to try and chase them straight at, well, she's going to try and come around and push these buffaloes straight at the herd, or the rest of the pride that's lying in wait on our left-hand side. So I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. It's what they often do is they'll use one as the sort of chaser, and then the rest are the ones that try and grab. And they rely on the buffalo stampeding towards where the rest are, and then they single out an individual. As those buffalo break cover and run, they single out a female or a male or a sub-adult that they then jump onto and they try and grab. But there's lots of females in here, so I wouldn't be surprised if there are some calves as well in this section that are in serious danger at the moment. You can see the buffalo are alert. Even though they're sleeping, their heads are up, they're listening, they're looking in this direction, so they are alert. They know that probably... There we go. Wait, hold on. Look, the whole herd's up. Now, this is where we've got to be a bit careful. You see how they form a front? Look at that. You see there is a calf in there as well. So the whole herd is now moving straight towards the lions. The lions are on our left-hand side. So let's see if they're going to break cover. Yes, the lions are going after them on the left. This is insane. So here the lions go. Look, the lions are here running through. So they are going after... Look, 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 look. They're going after the female with the calf. There comes the others. They're coming to chase her. So the big bulls are in here as well. Now, there's other lions on our left, but they spotted the calf. That's what they were going for. So the calf is the one that's going to be in the most danger. They're going to try and shift and move this herd around to try and get this calf isolated. You see, that's what they want, is they want the calf to be left on its own, and then they can run in and grab it. So there's lions on all sides at the moment, and this is what they want, is to try and kind of get to that calf. Look, you see how she's coming in? So she's going to try and do this. Now, she'll want to wear this female down as much as she can and try and get to that little baby. The little baby's going to have trouble. You see how she gives way to the adult male? Now, the rest of the pride needs to come in as well and help this female. Otherwise, she's going to have a problem. But here comes the rest of the pride. They're coming trotting this direction. See, here they come. So they've now going to try and single out this calf. There comes a big bull who's chasing them. Now, this is what I was saying about lions and buffalo. It's absolute pandemonium when they decide that they actually want to chase. So they've now worked out that there's a female and a young one. Now, let's see what's going to happen here. So they try and wear these buffalo down. You see, is they try and go after them, and they try and get a situation where they tire them out. And the big bulls are the ones that are coming into the aid of the cows. You see how these males are the ones that are trying to defend the calf, and so they are the big enforcers of this whole unit. So they're going to try and keep these lions at bay. So the big males out, then these are the calves in front, and the lions are going to have a tough time of it, because as long as the bulls are trying to protect the herd, getting close to those calves is going to be almost impossible. But the lions won't give up. They now know that they can try and start causing cracks and weaknesses. So they're going to dive into these herds, and they're going to try and push them as much as possible. A lot of the lions are behind me. Tam, you say that your heart is racing. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? It just becomes an absolute kind of situation where your heart beats at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and now the real war starts. It now becomes a kind of war of the trenches. You can see lionesses are running all over the place. The sub-adults probably are a little nervous of this whole thing at the moment. They don't quite know how to handle what's going on. So you see there are some other cars that are here that are just in the area, and I wonder if maybe let's turn, because I don't want to get too close inside all of this, because what happens is when the lions chase each other and chase the buffalo, it becomes a situation, as you saw, where there's a stampede, and if you're caught in the middle of that, you're in trouble. So there we go. There's a nice view of lions and buffalo. How crazy is this? What a way to start our day. Guy, you're wondering if it's really live. It is really live. We are out in the middle of Africa watching this happening right now. So it is as live can be. And you can see here come some of the sub-adults. So they're trying to watch the adults to see how to do this. And what's going to happen is you're going to find that these lions are going to keep trying to push these buffalo. I don't know if they've gotten this right. I think they've unfortunately went a little early, and the opportunity to get that calf was blown by the fact that it was just one lioness. If there had been the other lionesses there, they would have been able to try and kind of tempt that female to chase one, and then somebody else could have run in and grabbed it. But look, there's a big bull buffalo that's still kind of watching. Maybe what they're going to try and do is separate one bull, and then they're going to try. But no, here comes a buffalo. You see, he's charging in, and the lioness is the one that's held her ground. You see how the sub-adults ran there? So they're still very nervous of buffalo, and rightly so. If a buffalo gets hold of one of these lions, this whole herd will get involved, and they'll trample and stampede and try and hurt these lions as much as possible. So look at that. That is a picture of Africa. You've got the lioness and a big bull buffalo kind of standing his ground. And isn't it incredible? Did you see how immediately the bulls came right out to the fore to protect this herd? It's absolutely amazing to me how it works with both the lions and the buffalo, how they are both so organized, even in a moment of panic. Now, that little cub needs to be careful. So cub, you see right at the back, out on the fringes, and lionesses in front at the moment. Now, hopefully, these lionesses are going to, like I say, try and just kind of single out an individual and keep trying to hunt. That's one. But you see the bulls are now turning, going back to the herd. They've almost like, we've done our job. But this hunt is by no means over. You're going to find these lions are going to continue to push these buffalo. It's difficult to keep count of all the lions, though, because I only see one lioness. I can't see where the other 4 lionesses are. They might also be right here kind of hunting. I know one lioness went to the right, but it's very difficult to know where everybody is in a situation like this. And like I say, we've got the best seat for now because we know where some of the lions are. The buffalo are not far away, and so that means we can at least watch what's going on from this point of view. Now, here comes one of the bulls again. Here comes some boys from the buffalo herd. They coming in trotting. You can see the size of them. They are not small, particularly these males. And these are all bulls that have come out. So they're doing their job. They're defending their herd. They're making sure that they are pushing all of these lions away from where the vulnerable females and calves are. Now, can you see some more of them? There come some more lions off that side. So they slowly but surely, it almost looks like the lions are starting to regroup. And they've spread this herd quite a bit now. You can see the herd is spread in the background there. And what they're probably trying to do is just trying to create pockets of buffalo and break this herd up. And then they can start trying to go after females more than anything. But I can promise you, as soon as they jump onto a buffalo, if they do, that these males are going to come rushing in. They're going to have a situation where they're going to get very upset very quickly, the boys, and they're going to try and come and chase those lions off. And the lions are going to have to almost hold their nerve. But here come all the females. You see them coming out? So that's female buffalo all in front. And this means that these lions might try and go after them. Aunt Joe, you said you've never seen a sunrise safari on Safari Live this insane. Well, it is absolutely crazy. It's a bit of a bang to start the morning with, that's for sure. We've kind of just found these lions lounging in the road, and we didn't expect any of this to happen. Now, there's more lions coming around the back of us. I think they're trying to get to these females, so they're going to try and run in and grab females more than anything else. But the problem is there's lots of male buffalo all around the fringes that are going to try and protect them. But look, noses up. They're trying to smell what's going on. It's going to become a game of the proverbial cat and mouse, but in this case, the mouse is more the cat, and the buffalo have the upper hand now. Now that the element of surprise is gone, the buffalo now have to organize themselves and try and watch as much as possible. So there's one of the lions up on the mound just watching what's going on. But I still don't see a lot of the lionesses, so a lot of the big girls, I can't see where they've gone. So I don't know if they're on the other side of this herd or if they're in these thickets. I'm not quite sure. It's kind of a bit pandemonium. It's mostly sub-adults that I can see at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Now, careful, girls. You young female like that needs to back off. Now, look how the buffalo all come together when the lioness runs. So they all come. As soon as they see a lion, they come together, and it's a wall of animals that come straight towards us. Listen to them snorting as well. So they sniff, they're taking deep breaths, trying to hear. The lions are up on the mound. Now, we've got to hold our nerve a little bit here, because obviously we've got lions all around us at the moment, and as well as buffalo. And I was saying that they do stampede a little bit. You can see they're right in front at the moment. So what we're going to do is probably just try and reverse back a little bit and just try and give a bit more space to the buffalo and the lions, that if they are going to have a little interaction, that we're not caught in between, because the buffalo can be seriously dangerous, even in a vehicle. I've seen a number of buffalo hit vehicles before in similar situations to this. So I just want to back out a little bit and allow the lions and buffalo a little bit more space. So we're just going to give them a little bit more room. The lions are also on our side over here, so there we go. That's a little bit better in terms of where we are and this kind of space that the animals all have. The important thing is, even when we watch things like this, is to try and let all of the animals have an equal opportunity. We don't want to influence anything that goes on between the lions or the buffalo. We don't want to have a situation where we by mistake chase any of them and they kind of get disturbed. So it's best just to try and get yourself out of the situation and have free path for both lions and buffalo to be able to move. Now, these sub-adults on top, they're going to have to stay here for now. They're going to have to be a bit careful that they don't get marooned on top there, because a buffalo will go up there to chase them. So it's a situation where they've got to be a little more careful as to what's going on. Now, I believe a lot of you are saying that we're very brave to sit in the positions that we're in. Well, I suppose, it's I don't know if it's bravery or stupidity at this stage. No, I'm joking. The thing about this is that the buffalo aren't really focused on us. If this was at night, I wouldn't be doing this at all. I certainly wouldn't have allowed the buffalo to get as close as this at night, because buffalo at night are a lot more panicky. They don't see nearly as well, and therefore they often would run straight into a vehicle. But now during the day like this, they can see what's going on. The lions can see what's going on. And so we have a situation where, we don't have to be as stressed as what's kind of the buffalo hitting us. The buffalo are at least aware that we're here, so it's all good. But it's just kind of, you don't know where to look in situations like this, because it's literally just animals all over the place. And this is the kind of buffalo that they want to go after, is something of this size. This would be a perfect size buffalo for them to hunt. It's not nearly as big. You can see the horns are not as... Apologize about that. My audio turned off, so my little mic pack turned off, which is apologies. But I think what we're going to have is a situation now where everything's going to kind of be a standoff. I don't think these lions are actually going to get this right now. I think they've unfortunately wasted the opportunity by not getting that element of surprise. That first moment when they rushed the herd is when they needed to hit that calf and kind of grab it. Now the buffalo are far too organized, and I think we're in a situation where it's just going to be a standoff. You can see the lions are not really into it anymore. They're starting to back off. So we're going to carry on with our safari, and we're going to end this action broadcast. I hope that you had an absolutely epic time, and remember that you can find us if you search for us on the internet. Safari Live is what you look for, and we're going to continue with these buffalo and lions for the rest of the morning. Hopefully things will carry on, and if things do heat up again, we'll certainly go live once again for our action broadcast. But I hope that you've enjoyed it. So from VM and myself, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll hopefully see you all soon. Sure, well, wasn't that just something? So that was a bit crazy, but I hope that you guys all enjoyed that as much as I did. It seems as though it's kind of the best of both worlds happened there. We got the hunt, but we didn't get the gore of a kill at this stage. But we'll carry on with this, because I think it's going to carry on, and it's not going to end just yet. I think there's still going to be a standoff for a while. But while we catch our breath, let's send you back across to Biceps Byron, who I think was needed in this whole situation for the lions to wrestle down a buffalo.